in the Sunday morning email and on the church website. And if you would, please turn off or silence your cell phones during our service to maintain a worshipful experience. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you arrived at this beloved place, you are welcome here. And now it is time for Within These Walls. I'd like to welcome our Day of Service team.
Hello, I'm Leanne King, and today I am wearing Martha Kratchmer, who just happens to be my grandmother. She's my couture.
And I'm Cindy Fury, and I'm wearing Margaret Spinning.
In a year that continues to deliver unexpected challenges, we want to honor and uphold those scenes that bring us strength, motivate us, generate joy, connect us, and provide service to those that need it.
It isn't every day that we have the opportunity to make a difference in community. These encounters are extraordinary because ultimately the greatest gift we have been given is each other.
So, without further ado, the Best Picture Award for 2025 goes to...
What do you know? It is the Community Church of Chapel Hill 2025.
This film brought together more than 200 UUers to eat, laugh, sing, meet new friends, share time with loved ones, and most importantly, provide needed service to our greater community. This culminated in over 670 person hours dedicated in service.
We had the opportunity to feel the great joy that comes when we work collectively to serve others. Giving to others is so powerful, and doing it together is even greater.
This movie had so many critically acclaimed scenes, of service, signing up to donate blood, helping people know that they're remembered and loved by creating shawls and placemats, writing to government officials to ask for what is right, giving joy through toys to animals living in shelters, improving the grounds of community nonprofits, schools, and natural parks. These are some of the reasons that this film wins the Oscar.
This great movie marks the end of the Community Church Pledge Drive. It celebrates our combined financial and service contributions to our church community. In effect, we ended our giving with more giving.
As directors of this film, we want to thank all the many people that played a role in making this amazing quilt of action happen. When there was a need, someone stepped up and filled that role. It felt so good to be part of such an amazing crew.
And coming next year at a community church near you, we will launch a new blockbuster movie. So remember all the great times on the set, dream of new stories to share, and we'll see you at the movies in 2026.
Please rise in body or in spirit for our opening hymn, number 1024 in the blue hymnal, When the Spirit Says Do.
Got to do what the Spirit says do. Spirit says shout. 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 When the Spirit says you got to do what the Spirit says you. When the Spirit says you got to do. You got to do when the Spirit says you. Spirit says do. 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 Spirit says do.
Let us enter into worship with these words. Resistance is the secret of joy, said Alice Walker. Or was it joy is the secret of resistance? I am the strong-willed child they never saw coming. She is the gasp of awe at a sudden orange fuchsia sunset. He is the peaceful protester in the face of violence. She is the mother walking with her children across a fictitious border. We are a deep inhale. We are the ruckus chuckle of connection amidst a very difficult experience. I am my body. You are the soup you just made. They are a dance as they move in protest. We are a beloved community and a welcome crying baby in the back of the sanctuary. Joy, resistance, truth, dignity, it's all taking root. Come, let us worship together. And now it's time for a chalice lighting. Please join me in reading the words, if you wish to do so, there in your order of service. You have turned my mourning into dancing. You have taken off my sackcloth and clothed me with joy. Weeping may linger for the night, but joy comes with the morning.
Each week, we hold in our service a time for sharing the joys and the sorrows of our church community. It's during this time, if you've come with either a significant personal joy or a significant sorrow, you're invited to come down either of the side aisles, place a stone in the water bowl, say your name, and briefly share your joy or your sorrow. Let us enter into this time of tenderness and trust.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Ginger Guidry, and I'm here on behalf of our family to share a joy. We just spent the weekend watching our son Upton as Peter Pan in a production at Carborough Elementary School, and it was one of his first experiences on stage, and he was in the lead role, and he just did an excellent job. And just such a joy to be part of the production. They have 150 kids that are part of it one way or another, crew, acting, ensemble, etc. It's such a joy to see the whole thing come together, and he is definitely influenced by the drama and the art of this church and his interest in being part of that. So thank you to all of you as well.
Hi, we're Jeff and Cam Blass. We had the honor and the pleasure last week of spending a week with our some friends from Rotary working on a deaf school in Kingston, Jamaica. We've been working on that for the last couple of years, providing computer equipment and sprucing up the place. But to see the joy in the faces of the students and the love they had for us and the love we had for them, it was a great week.
Hi, my name is Melisande Timblin, and I know this sounds really weird, but I dropped that stone for some people I don't really know. We have neighbors that moved in 2 blocks away from us not long ago, maybe a year and a half ago. I don't know their names. I know them by sight. I wave at their dogs, and I see them pushing their baby in a stroller. And on Friday, there were emergency vehicles parked in front of their house for a long time, and we didn't know why. And I found out late Friday night that they put their baby down for a nap, and he didn't wake up. And I just keep thinking about that mom and about that family and the personal tragedy that they're feeling against the backdrop of horror. And the only name I know is the baby's name. His name was Archie. So if you could keep them in your hearts.
A final stone is placed for all of the joys and the sorrows that we hold in our hearts that were not spoken this day. I invite you to join with me as we enter into a time of meditation and prayer. Spirit of life, source of our being and our becoming, the poet William Blake once wrote that joy and woe are woven fine. We know this is true. We know that in every sorrow there exists the joy of hope and love and care. We know that with every success, there is a defeat or a challenge. We know that with every tear, there is a wellspring of care and compassion, the power of love reaching out. And we know that with every bit of bad news, there is a lofty dream for a world of peace and justice. Be with us in the midst of our joys and our sorrows, our joy and woe woven fine. Help us in this time to give thanks for our community, to give thanks for one another, to give thanks for the care that we extend as well as receive, for the gifts which we share and appreciate, and for the lofty calls to service, to justice, and to advocacy in our world. Amidst the joys and the sorrows of our own lives and of this world, let us hold a few moments of silence. I invite you to be still with me for a few moments. Amen. Our sung hymn is number 168. It's called One More Step, and I'm going to invite us to rise in body or in spirit as we sing together.
Don't hesitate. If you suddenly and unexpectedly feel joy, don't hesitate. Give in to it. There are plenty of lives and whole towns destroyed or about to be. We are not wise and not very often kind. And much can never be redeemed. Still, life has some possibility left. Perhaps this is its way of fighting back, that sometimes something happens better than all the riches or power in the world. It could be anything, but very likely you notice it in the instant when love begins. Anyway, that's often the case. Anyway, whatever it is, don't be afraid of its plenty. Joy is not made to be a crumb.
And now it is time for our offertory. Freely have we received gifts that minister to our needs of body and spirit. Gladly we bring to our church and its wide concerns a portion of this bounty. If you wish to donate online, please point your camera at the QR code on the back of the order of service and tap the banner that appears. Or there is information on the church's website. We will now receive the morning offering.
This is for the powerless, the wounded and the weak. This is for the immigrant and those who cannot speak. If the ground beneath your feet feels unstable, there's a place for you at my table. And if you're broken, you're welcome. And if you're outside looking in, if you have no place of your own, my door is open. It's always open.
To anyone wondering if you belong, to anyone who feels afraid, not that strong, if you wanted to be confident but you weren't able, there's a place for you at my table.
And if you're broken, you are welcome. And if you're outside looking in, and if you have no place of your own, my door is open.
Some number of years ago, while visiting a memorial to the Holocaust, I saw displayed a quote, a story that I found striking, unforgettable. It stayed with me. The quote is by Gerda Weissman Klein. As a teenager, she survived 3 years in a concentration camp. And the quote, the story that was posted there was this: Ilsa, a childhood friend of mine, once found a raspberry in the camp and carried it in her pocket all day to present to me that night on a leaf. Imagine a world in which your entire possession is one raspberry, and you give it to a friend. Imagine, if you can, as hard as it is to do, imagine for just a moment that you are Gerda. And imagine it is your childhood friend, Elsa, presenting you a single raspberry, her only possession in the world, born on a small leaf. Imagine her saying to you, I want you to have this smallest morsel, tiniest sweetness. Imagine being so loved. Can I be so bold as to suggest that Gerda experienced in that moment the briefest flash of joy from her friend's kindness and love? Can I be so bold as to suggest that Ilsa experienced the briefest flash of joy in that moment to see her friend Gerda receive her gift? The reading this morning was a poem by Mary Oliver. It's a poem that Rachel actually found and shared. Rachel Rose, our Director of Membership and Communications, found and shared with us, that Jen read earlier. The poet writes, if you suddenly and unexpectedly feel joy, don't hesitate. Give in to it. There are plenty of lives and whole towns destroyed or about to be. We are not wise and not very often kind. Still, life has some possibility left. Perhaps this is its way of fighting back. Perhaps this is joy's way of fighting back. That sometimes something happens better than all the riches or power of the world. Joy is not made to be a crumb. This morning I'm going to talk a little bit about joy, and I have to admit that there's a part of me that thinks it is risky or inappropriate to dare to speak about joy at this moment when we are witness to so much reckless destruction, this moment when we are witness to so much unchecked corruption, this moment when we are witness to so much obscene and sadistic greed. What right do I even have to dare to mention joy? But then I think of last Sunday's worship service. How many of you were here last week at the worship service led by members of our campus ministry? Amazing service. Oh my goodness. I think back to the sermon that was given last Sunday by Trey Anthony, one of the members of our campus ministry. In his sermon, Trey shared a quote about the gay community at the very height of the AIDS crisis. The quote goes, during the darkest days of the AIDS crisis, we buried our friends in the morning, protested in the afternoon, and danced all night. The dance kept us in the fight because it was the dance we were fighting for. It didn't look like we were going to win then, and we did. It doesn't feel like we're going to win now, but we could keep fighting, keep dancing. And so this morning, in the spirit of Gerda's raspberry, in the spirit of that dance, in the spirit of Mary Oliver's sudden and unexpected flash of joy, I want to say a few words about joy. I actually decided to put into a search engine the question, what is joy? And the first thing to pop up was the statement that joy is similar to happiness but deeper, which wasn't that helpful. Skimming through the search engine results, some definitions said that joy is synonymous with happiness or pleasure, and some said that joy is sort of kind of synonymous with happiness or pleasure, but not exactly. I would like to propose tentatively that pleasure is experienced in the senses, that happiness is experienced in the mind or in the mood, and that joy is experienced in the deepest sense of what it means to be human. Perhaps in the heart, perhaps in the soul, if that's a word that is meaningful to you. All this is problematic, of course. It raises all sorts of questions like, are the body and mind really separate, or are they one thing? Do categories like body, mind, and spirit really even make sense? But I think that joy is that deeper thing, that deeper happiness, that deeper pleasure that is found in a connection with what it means to be human in the deepest sense. If the story of Goethe's Raspberry is a story of joy, it is that joy that is found in friendship, in connection, and in the care that exists between two friends. It is the joy of humanity rising up defiantly and resisting the cruelest of dehumanizations. If the story of dancing in the gay community is a story about joy, and I think that it is a story of the joy that is found in radical self-love, radical self-acceptance, and in a community rising up defiantly to resist dehumanization. Mary Oliver writes that joy is a way of fighting back, that joy is a way of fighting back, and that it can overcome. That it can overcome. Someone quoted the Bible at me this week. I didn't appreciate it. You know, when someone quotes the Bible at me, I'm always tempted to respond, you know, I have a degree in that, right? It's maybe a little arrogant. I think of the great minister William Sloane Coffin, who once lamented that too many people use the Bible the way a drunk uses a lamppost. For support rather than illumination. And I know in this community that we don't all like the Bible or consider it authoritative or don't consider it a source of inspiration or not. And I know that the Bible has been misused for centuries to justify oppression and cause harm. But I try to read the Bible through the lens of liberation, especially liberation from oppression and liberation from empire. If you're not reading the Bible through the lens of liberation, you're probably reading it wrong. And one of the things I want to share is that in many of the passages, in most of the passages in which the Bible speaks about joy, it speaks about joy, holding on to joy even in the midst of trials, struggles, difficulties, and dangers. The Bible seems to connect joy with resilience and resistance. It says that joy is not about letting the powers and principalities of this world separate you from love and truth. There's even a passage in the Gospels where Jesus meets with the disciples in the last week of his life and tells them that he's going to be taken from them, and the disciples grow worried and anxious and sad. And Jesus says to them, I am going, but no one can take your joy from you. I am going, but no one can take your joy from you. So do not surrender your joy. Do not surrender your joy. I was reading a few weeks ago one of those writers who writes about tips for resisting authoritarianism, and one of those tips involved joy. He wrote, "Those who would seek to have dominion over us have no clue how powerful joy and community and self-expression can be." No clue how powerful joy and community and self-expression can be. At the National Museum of African American History and Culture in Washington, D.C., there is a collection of photographs, and the title of the collection is Black Joy. It's called Black Joy, Resistance, Resilience, and Reclamation. If you haven't been, I invite you to go. If you haven't read the description or seen the pictures online, you can do that too. And in the catalog for this collection, there is a quote that I find gets at the very heart of what I'm trying to say about joy this morning. Here's that quote. Having a vision that circumvents adverse circumstances was and is an act of defiance and resilience. Black joy demonstrates that internal responses are fully within a person's control. They have the power to restrict access to their spirits, to their emotions, and to the sources of their joy. Joy is a wellspring of power that is uplifting and life-affirming. And that's what is important for all of us to know about joy. That you have the power to restrict access to your spirit, to your emotions, and to the sources of your joy. And that joy is that power that is uplifting and life-affirming. As a community church, I think our practice of joy is among our strengths. There's the joy of musical theater, the joy of our music, our two choirs this morning, our band. Jay, Richard, Dan, thank you. So much joy in our music. Thank you, Glenn. So much joy in our children, in that chalice choir. Maybe I'm biased, but they are joyful. My daughter sings in that. There's the joy of weddings and the joy of child dedications, the joy of our day of service leaders doing announcements week after week that are more outrageous than the week before. I once had a new member of the church remark to me, "Wow, Thom, you seem like you really enjoy ministry." They said that in a way that they sounded surprised. And I kind of wondered where this new person had come from, that would be a surprise, that I didn't ask. And then there's the day of service, our day yesterday. What an expression of our community's joy. I walked in and saw our quilters, and they were making these beautiful placemats. And I walked in and saw our clickers, and they were making these amazingly lovely shawls, just putting so much care of hands into them. I talked to one of our board members this morning. I said, "How did you enjoy yesterday?" And she said, "Oh, it was such a joy. I washed windows at the Charles house. And when I wash my own windows, that does not bring me joy, but yesterday it did bring me joy." Do not surrender your joy. Dance. Do not surrender your joy. Resist. Do not surrender your joy. Connect. Do not surrender your joy. Find that raspberry and share it. That is the way. Amen. And blessed be. And let us end with singing joyfully this morning. I invite us to rise in body or in spirit as we sing number 1018, "Come and Go With Me."
justice in that land where I'm bound. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land where I'm bound. They'll be singing in that land. They'll be singing in that land. They'll be singing in that land where I'm bound. They'll be singing in that land. They'll be singing in that land. They'll be singing in that land where I'm bound.
Woo-hoo. Please remain standing in body or in spirit. The words for extinguishing the chalice are in your order of service. Please join me in reading them if you wish to do so. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Please join me in thanking all who contributed to making today's service worshipful. And now it's time to sing Shalom. The words are in your order of service, and as you're comfortable, please hold hands with those next to you or cross them over your heart.
Thank you.